sorry, I was touching up. Okay, I have a tendency to speak a little loudly. Is this too loud for y'all? We good? Louder?
No.
Okay. Hey, Montgomery! Hey! How's everybody doing? Not that loud. How's everybody doing? So as mentioned, my name is Matthew Francis. I am originally from Montgomery, Alabama. Many of you out here right now, I know. Many of you out there, I might not know. Oh, hey, girl, hey. Someone I do know. And I wanted to share my story with you guys because I think that there's a lot that people think they know about me that they don't. So, starting off, when I was very, very young, I knew that I wanted to be larger than life. I always wanted to be a superstar because to me, superstars, actors, actresses, they were the people that had voices and people listened to them. I remember when I was about 5, I used to watch Barney, and there was this little white boy named Michael. He had curly blonde hair. I wanted to be Michael in that instance. Girl, please, I could have belted out those lines to Barney in a heartbeat. But it just wasn't my time to shine. I was always a little bit different from most of the boys that I went to school with. I played with Littlest Pet Shops, Polly Pocket. Girl, I can't tell you how many Barbie dolls I went through trying to cut their hair and dye it with food coloring because Barbie needed to be a redhead. She really did. But honey, it didn't always work out. While boys were playing football, I was in playing with my Barbie dolls. When I was about 4 years old, my father passed away. Growing up, it was very difficult because I lived not really in a typical home that a lot of the people that I went to school with lived in. I had a grandmother, a grandfather, and a mother. My mother and my grandmother were both very, very sick. They were dying of cancer. As I was getting older and coming into my shell, I knew that I was different from everybody that I went to school with and that I played with on the playground, especially since the fact that my father one night tripped and busted his head open, and that's how he died. My mother explained to me, well, honey, your father, he's going to be asleep for the rest of your life, but I'll be here as long as I can, but Mommy's really sick too. I didn't really understand what she meant by this, but I would later find out. The first time I ever heard about AIDS, I'll never forget it. I was going over to a friend of mine's house. I knocked on his door and he answered it. I was probably about 7 or 8 years old. And I said, hey, do you want to come out and play? He said, well, I can't play with you anymore. And I said, well, why not? He said, my parents tell me that your parents have AIDS and I can't get that if I don't play with you. His mom answered the door and shut it in my face. I didn't know what AIDS was, but I surely asked my grandfather when I got home. He was livid and he was very emotional. He didn't know how to explain what AIDS was to his 7-year-old grandson. The year 1996 was not a great year for me either. I lost my grandmother 4 days after my 9th birthday, and in that following October, I lost my mother. It was very difficult hearing in school, make sure you have your parents sign this, make sure your mom comes on this field trip, when I didn't have a mom or a dad. I had my grandfather. And for a long time, battling with the fact that I was the boy who wanted to wear makeup and wanted to dye my hair and play with little cute dolls and things like that, and not having a family, I struggled with my faith so much. I thought, is God cursing me? What did I do to make him so mad and want to get rid of all of the people in my life that I thought should have meant something? Well, in high school, I met a great group of friends, many of which are here now, and many of which I've been friends with since preschool. They are my heart and soul. I couldn't have pulled through those years without them. I went through crazy hair changes, braces, guy liner before it's become popular in emo these days, and coming out as a homosexual. That was probably the most difficult time for me because I didn't know how people were going to react. Matthew's gay and he goes to a private Catholic school. Scary. How many red dots are going to follow me around from all the hunters that were in class with me? Well, luckily, I got through it because of my friends and because of my grandfather. I'll never forget the time I sat him down to tell him that I was gay. I was like, Diddy, that's what I call him, Diddy, you might want to sit down for this. Matthew's got to tell you something. All right, Matthew, what? My game's on. Oh, okay, well, I can come back later. Ah, no, God, come on. Okay. Dad, I'm gay. All right, and? What do you mean, and? Well, Matthew, I kind of always had an idea. You did? Well, you've always had a lot of pretty girlfriends, but you never really had a pretty girlfriend. Okay. But it was then that I knew that that was okay. If he already knew, it wouldn't be so shocking when I really told him the truth. So then I started college. I was done with high school and I wanted to make a name for myself. I wanted everybody to know who Matthew Francis was. So I did everything from making music videos as an RA in my dorm. By the way, if you look around, some of the people who were in my first videos are actually standing here. You can look them up on YouTube still. I wanted to make sure that everybody knew who I was and what I wanted to get out of life. At age 19, they had a blood drive at the school. And if you know something about me, I'm kind of a prude. I might come off as being a little flamboyant. Okay, yeah, I get that. But I always had really strong principles. I didn't care for drinking. I never wanted to do drugs. And I was saving my virginity until marriage. Something you don't hear very often in our culture, especially from a gay person. But I wanted to be that person in the world who could do that. So when the blood drive came, I thought, this is going to be easy. I'm the perfect donor. I have no tattoos, no piercings. I haven't been out of the country yet. Because they make you sign all that stuff right there in the bus while they're giving you like food and stuff. Which is great, by the way. And I didn't hear anything back from them. So I was like, okay, great. I just saved a life. So as I was starting my YouTube fame, I started coming up with ideas of things to do. And that's when I started thinking about makeup. I had just recently gotten a job at a very popular makeup company, MAC Cosmetics. And I wanted to teach people what I was learning at the same time. So I came up with an idea of what I could do, and I was trying to think of a name for myself because I thought I was a little conceited to be like Matty Fran. So every weekend, I kid you not, and some of the MAC girls here can testify to this. Boys, girls of all ages, all genders, they would walk by and they'd be like, "Mommy, is that a boy wearing makeup?" And their mothers would just shush them and keep on walking. That's where the name came from, a boy wearing makeup, because that's what I was. So as I started to get hits, I started to realize, wow, my dream is coming true. I could actually start being famous and start helping people out. I came home from school one day and my granddad sat me down. He said, "Matthew, I need to have a conversation with you." "Okay, Diddy, what's up?" "Well, seems like your parents gave you a little gift."